guys, and welcome back. If you're new here, you're very welcome. My name's Laura, and in this video it's going to be a short, quick and jam-packed video full of all the top things that you will need to know about the keyboard shortcuts for the UCAT. As always, it is totally personal preference on the methods that you use to help you succeed in the UCAT, but here are some of my top tips that I wish someone had told me about before I sat the UCAT, and I'm hoping that by sharing these with you, you'll be able to boost your scores and see massive improvements in timing and confidence. So there are several ways you can operate the UCAT, and because it's all online, you will be able to use a mouse and you can also use a keyboard. A mouse is fine and you can click and drag and get things up like the calculator or move forwards and back from previous questions on to the next question. You can flag and you can do multiple things with the mouse. Equally though, you can also do this all on the keyboard, and in this video I'm going to be telling you how to do this to save time, to stop wasting any valuable seconds, and to feel confident that you can move throughout the UCAT without feeling any restrictions, and to just feel like you are able to do your best. Being able to use the keyboard shortcuts in sections like the quantitative reasoning and decision-making sections will really help save time and cut any sort of loss of seconds because of dragging the mouse or anything to get the calculator up on the screen. By using the keyboard shortcuts with the calculator, it'll really massively improve how many set questions you can get answered in the same time as if you were using a mouse. The key to success with the UCAT is being able to implement simple and effective tools to cut down any time wasting to an absolute minimum. And by using the keyboard shortcuts that I'll talk about in this video, you can do just that and boost your scores and confidence and be able to use all of the tools that you can with the mouse. This will just be a much quicker process, much more seamless and effortless to get you through all the different sections of the UCAT, get the calculator up to be able to flag questions and to skip on to the next question. It's really vital that you know these, and I hope by sharing these with you, you'll be able to implement them early on and get used to them, unlike how I did it, where I only got used to them very quickly before the UCAT, and it wasn't a good idea. So I suggest getting used to these as soon as possible, and if something you wish to do, definitely try this out because it really does save time and help you get higher scores in the UCAT. Before I go into any details on the actual shortcuts, just bear in mind that to use these all effectively, you will need to be on a large desktop computer with a full-size keyboard, like the ones that they will use in the UCAT exam. So try and get used to these if you can, get hold of one of these, maybe at school, or maybe your parents might have one that you could make use of, because it's a great way of mimicking the real environment that will be the case when you sit your UCAT test. So now on to the keyboard shortcuts, and these are all the possible keyboard shortcuts that you can make use of in your UCAT. So when you're moving between questions, it's a really useful thing to be able to do very quickly and effortlessly and not have to drag the mouse around the screen. So to do this, you'll simply just press the Alt and N button to move on to the next question. And if you wish to go back a question and you want to go to your previous question, all you have to press is the Alt and the P button on your keyboard. If you are struggling on a question and you would like to flag it to come back to it at a later stage of the test, you'll just press the Alt and the F button on your keyboard. If you're finished with most of your section and you're not sure of what to do to use your time effectively and you can't remember which questions you flagged and want to go back to, just press the Alt and A button to review all the questions that you've done in that section. If you wish to review just the flagged questions that you've flagged as you've gone through that section of the UCAT, then you just press the Alt and V button. If you've gone through the section and you've left some questions out, and I really don't recommend this because quite often you won't have enough time to go back to them, so I would always suggest to just guess a question and then flag it. But if you've left some out and you want to go back to just your incomplete questions, press the Alt and the I button on the keyboard, and this will bring you to all the incomplete questions off your test for that section that you're sitting currently. If you then wish to bring up the review screen for all the questions, you just press the Alt and the S button on your keyboard. And the final one that you can make use of is the Alt and E button, and this will just bring you to the very end of that section. And if you think you've reviewed all your questions and you're happy with what you've done, you can then end the review by hitting the Alt and the E button on your keyboard. So if that seemed a little bit overwhelming and too many keyboard shortcuts for you to remember, don't panic. I'm going to go over the ones that most students will make use of very often throughout the test, and these ones are the ones that I'd suggest you learning off. The other ones you can learn off as well if you wish, but these ones are the most critical ones to know. So it's very, very important that you know how to access the calculator for the quantitative reasoning and decision-making sections of the UCAT. And I've done a complete video on how to use the UCAT calculator, but this is just the keyboard shortcut that you will need to know to get the calculator up onto the screen. And it's simply just the Alt button and the C button. You will use this really frequently in these sections, so it's a good idea to be very familiar with using this keyboard shortcut. The next one is the number locks, and that's to use the keyboard shortcuts for the calculator. You'll simply hit this button and then you'll be able to use the keypad on the side of the keyboard to help you type in all the numbers and information that you wish to onto the calculator. When using the calculator, if you press the spacebar on your keyboard, you'll be able to get that to clear all the data that's in your calculator at that point. So for all the sections of the UCAT, these keyboard shortcuts are the must-know keyboard shortcuts. So as I've already mentioned, it's the Alt and the N button to the next question. So that means that if you're on a question and you want to move on to the next, you simply just select Alt and N, and that will move you on to your next question. Then, as I've already mentioned, if you want to go back a question and see something that you've done already, you can just go back by pressing the Alt and the P button to view the previous question. So I think one of the most important keyboard shortcuts is to know how to flag the question really, really quickly. And this will save you a lot of time and hassle trying to move a mouse around the screen to flag a question, when you simply just have to press the Alt and the F button to flag it, and then you can review all of them at the end of that section. So in my opinion, they are the top 6 keyboard shortcuts to know to do really well in all the sections of the UCAT. And if you can memorize them and get used to them as early as possible, it'll really, really help speed up your timings, boost your scores and your confidence, and just make everything a little bit easier. So I hope you found that video useful, some of those top tips that I wish someone had told me before I sat the UCAT, and some that you may be able to share with your friends to help them do a little bit better in each section of the UCAT and just see a massive improvement over time and overall in all the sections of the UCAT. So I hope you found them useful, and if you would like to check out any other videos, please do so, and hit that subscribe button down below to check out the rest of my videos and content and to keep up to date with anything that I'll be posting to help you get into medical school. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye bye!